Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are back once again. So I want to jump into it and talk about the Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward, the fight that happened. And a lot of people are upset. They say that Andre Ward, he didn't win, that Sergey, was the real winner of that fight. And as I watched it the night of the fight, I could definitely see people's their point as to why they would say Kovalov should have been the one to retain all his belts that night. That he was it seemed like he was the powerful fighter. However, when I watched it again, I went back, I reviewed the fight again, and I watched every single round more carefully. And I now understand how the judges ended up giving it to Andre Ward. And clearly, I think they did a fair job there. I feel like that there was no robbery. I mean, a lot of people are talking about this robbery, but if you want to see a real robbery, you need to go back and watch the Parnell Whitaker fight against that Chavez, that guy, man, that was, when you talk about a robbery, that's a fight that was a flat out robbery. And we've seen other ones that were flat out robberies that you knew something was going on there, and it wasn't based off of actual points and as far as like punches landed and stuff like that. But anyway, so getting back to my review of the fight, when I went back and I looked at it, I saw that at the first round, Andre Ward, he comes out there very aggressive, and he landed a host of punches, and they were nice little, they were jabs, but they landed. And so those judges, I know, they count those points. I mean, the scoring system in boxing is so different than all these other type of combat sports. I mean, you think about it, MMA, people want to try to compare the two and say that, it's about the same, but it really isn't. I mean, it's very different. Their scoring systems are different. And I feel like a lot of the people who watched this fight between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, they're getting it twisted a little bit. They're getting it mixed up with an MMA type thing. And then there's times where it looked like it was going to be like an MMA fight. I mean, you saw some hustle and tussle with the two guys during that fight, that boxing match. So moving on, what I saw was the very first round. Definitely, I believe that round went to Andre Ward. He definitely led in punches and scoring in that round. If you go back and you really see, he started jabbing into the body, and they landed. Whether they were real strong power punches or not, they landed, and you can clearly see that. Okay, so he started out of the box pretty early, and he still kept that sort of that momentum. He still kept that little, jabbing here and there to the body and the body. He just, he had some head shots too that were clean and popped Sergey a few times. However, I would say like that second round, that definitely went to Sergey because of the 10-8, because he knocked Andre Ward down. So automatically that goes to him in a 10-8. So he was ahead with that. But then later, as time went on, the rounds went on, Andre Ward was able to catch him in points. And when I say in points, and it was barely, because it was very slim, because there was times where, Andre couldn't really get off any really good shots, and there were times where Sergey was able to get off some really great, nice, power shots, because he was throwing some power punches to Andre Ward, and they were landing, some nice head shots. However, he started to slow down. Sergey started to slow down. You could visually see Sergey slowing down as the fight went on, and he was a bit reluctant to throw punches, and in the later rounds, and it allowed Andre Ward to catch him, to catch up and be the more busier and actually landing, because he was landing, because there was punches where Sergey was throwing a bunch of punches, but they weren't landing. Okay, and if you see, it was almost similar to like the Pacquiao and Mayweather, where Pacquiao was throwing all these punches, and it looked like he was really, it looked like the appearance was like he was like getting somewhere, but in reality, he was missing it, and he was hitting a bunch of, he was hitting gloves. He wasn't hitting the actual person. He wasn't hitting Mayweather at that time. And it was like Mayweather was able to maneuver in a way that allowed him to get around those punches and so forth. And so the same thing here in this situation. Although the fight itself on both sides, it didn't look as clean as it could have been, I think, on both sides. I think both was it was a bit kind of rough on both sides, both Sergey and Andre Ward. I think it could have been a lot cleaner. I think Andre Ward definitely is going to walk away learning a lot from this particular fight. And also Sergey. I think Sergey is going to walk away learning that he has to, if he's in a situation where he stuns a person in the very beginning, that he really has to lay it on, and he attempted to do that, but it just didn't work in his favor. But I feel like he did slow down. He gassed out Sergey Kovalev, and you could see it. And Andre Ward was unleashing a whole bunch of body punches that were landing, and that was one of the things that I believe help slow Sergey down in his reaction time too, because when Andre would come forward, you could see Sergey clenching up and not, he's trying to guard the body because he couldn't take any more of those shots to the body. It was really wearing on him, and you could see it because he started to, get tired. And they had an effect on him. You could see it. And so he would drop his hands. He was dropping his hands a lot in the later rounds. And like I said, I believe that narrowly Andre Ward was able to dig in and find a way to win, and he won based off of the points that the punches that were landing, and he landed a huge amount of body shots that edged him over the top in points with Sergey, and Sergey could not afford to allow that. You'd think that he would have gotten more aggressive in the later rounds and kept going, but again, when you're getting hit to the body like that, it takes some stuff out of you. It takes some energy out of you, and you could see it. But I think that it could have gone either way because it was that close of a fight. I think if Sergey would have landed more cleaner shots towards the end, if he was a little bit more aggressive in those later rounds and not gas out like he started to, and there was times where even Andre Ward was a bit hesitant in areas, but he got back into the game. So like I said, he as a veteran, Andre Ward as a veteran in the sport, definitely knows how to dig in and get those points, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. These the judges, they scored based off of how many points. I mean how many shots are landed. That's usually how it is. How many you've landed, and that's how it should be. It can't be. I mean, I don't know. Everybody, there's all kinds of ways you can score things, but that's how it's been. That's their system. It's based off of those punches landed, and if you've landed a numerous amount of punches, it could be one or two punches more than the other guy that you landed. Whoever landed the most is the winner. And so I feel that that's what happened in this case, and it was a bit crazy. It was a bit, it was a little bit tough, but when you slow down and you take your time and you really look at how many and some of those punches, they didn't look like they were as effective as Sergey's punches were, like the punches that were landing, that Andre Ward was landing on Sergey. They didn't look like they were very effective punches, because it didn't look like they. But then again, when you look at the body, when he was drilling into the body, that actually affected the whole outcome of the fight, because you could see Sergey slowing down. However, like I said before, it didn't matter what kind of punches they were. If they were landing, and that was the strategic part on Andre Ward's end, he was landing those shots. And some of them were a bit rough, not as clean as they could be. But as the time went on, he started to get a little bit more cleaner with those shots, and you could see him. But he, like I said, there were some shots that were thrown from Sergey that did not connect like they connected with on Andre Ward's side. So there it is, everybody. That's my take on it. I feel like it could have gone either way. It definitely could have gone either way with these two guys, because it was like neck and neck. I think, Sergey, he nailed it at the second round, but then as time went on, the body shots, and then there were some head shots that Andre Ward got in there, but he had more body shots landing on Sergey. Even in those clinching moments, he was, Andre Ward was effective in landing a lot of those onto Sergey. And so that's it, everybody. I just wanted to share that with all of you, and definitely leave your comments. Let me know what you think about the whole entire outcome of the fight. Do you agree with the judges, or don't you agree? What did you see? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts, and let me know. All right. And once again, if you like what you heard, punch the thumbs up below, subscribe, and I'm going to keep this ball rolling. All right. Once again, everybody, one love, respect, and take care.